Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, been holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on fire. Time for a girl on fire. Time for
I always forget to hit the mute button. Hi, everybody. I hope you're all so good today. I have 2 coffees. Hi, Anastasia. I have 2 coffees. I have a small amount of ice, and I want to pour my iced coffee that comes in a can. That's right. Iced coffee in a can. Hi, Jonathan. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I'm so glad you're with me. This case is actually sort of unusual. At first I was like, wasn't gonna grab it. Hi, Bev. Hi, Vicky. Look, that's how much goes into 1 can of coffee. It's 240 milliliters. McBurney trial. No, I can't say that I have, but I've been very busy. So I have a hot coffee and a cold coffee with ice this morning. So I would love to hear what you had for breakfast. If you didn't like what you had for breakfast, tell me what you wish you had for breakfast. I'm having pita and hummus. That's my breakfast. It's 10 o'clock, and this will be the first bite of food that I'm going to have. And I made it gross. Perfect. Good work, Paisley. Okay. Fuck. Oh my god. I didn't need to do that, but I did. Anyways, let's go to this case. So, like I said, I sort of teased it a little bit in the Discords. Mom is asking for something somewhat unusual. Generally, child support only goes back to the time of separation. Hi, Tons. How you doing? Anyway, so normally child support only goes back to the time of separation, but this mom is saying that dad didn't take care of her and the baby even when they were together. So she's asking for child support included back when they were together. So without further ado, oh, Jonathan, that sounds like a delicious, delicious breakfast. I want that. Breakfast at 3 a.m. Leftover bacon, top chicken, and brown rice. Love it. I had a burrito yesterday, and I don't know if you guys have this too, but when you have ADHD like I do, sometimes you get like obsessed with food. But in reality, it's like you will only eat that food for a while for the most part. And then you'll be like, you'll eat it for a month and then you won't eat it again. Well, I can feel that happening. I can feel it. I can feel the pull of the burrito that I had last night when I woke up and wanted a burrito for breakfast. That's not a good sign for Paisley. That usually indicates I'll be eating burritos for a month. But I did hear a little sentence today that I thought was good. The only bikini body is a body in a bikini. That's right. Say it with me, folks. The only bikini body is a body in a bikini. Hi, John. All right, let's get this going. Says the girl who wants burritos for breakfast. Hey now, Courtney. Hey now. The first part is fast, so I will slow her down. Bigger. Better. Let's go.
All right, so at this time, of course, we're going to go ahead and go on the record, and this is Bell County Calls number 24, DFAM 349,988, and this is in the interest of Leonard Leonard hyphen my minor child, and the third party being Emmanuel me, the third party being Jamie Felix. In this matter, before the court on the original petition to see the effect and parent child with an AOP. Court will take judicial notice of the court file note for the record that both parties have previously been noticed and served. We're not operating under any type of temporary order that happens. The court did appoint Ms. Lambert as the ad litem for the child in this matter. And my understanding from the opening announcements that there's agreements on all issues, there's perhaps one. So at this time, I'll ask the state for an open to tell the court what the state's requesting we do here today, what you understand the agreements to be. I'll have the ad litem confirm that and add anything she thinks is appropriate for the court to know about this matter. And then we'll go ahead and Ms. Baxter's
And
present.
she's just observing, Your Honor.
Okay. And at that point, like I said, we'll go ahead and let the ad litem make her opening, and then we'll go ahead and take it from there. Folks, I don't let pro se litigants make opening statements, but at the end of the hearing, if you wish to make a closed statement or closing argument, because you're your own legal representative, you can do so. So at this time, I'll ask the state for that opening. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. State is requesting the final order, and as you said, Your Honor, state understands that the parties agreed to pretty much everything except for retroactive child support, and even then, there may be some agreement on that. So, Your Honor, starting with the issues that the state's interested in, so state understands that Mr. Me is currently unemployed, and state has no reason to dispute that at this moment. So the state asked for current child support of $221 per month starting July 1st, 2025, and that's based off of minimum wage. So it asked for cash medical for Miss Felix to apply through government medical, and that is at a cost that is $57 per month starting July 1st, 2025. State understands that neither party are requesting non-disclosure, and as for the issues that I'm not really interested in, but that Ms. Lambert will probably be discussing more, state understands that the parties agree to joint management conservatorship with Ms. Yeah, Ms. Felix, I think it's there you go. So joint conservatorship with Ms. Felix as the one to hold the right to establish where the child lives. She understands that the parties aren't asking for any geographic restriction. She understands that the parties are requesting electronic visitation for Mr. Me. And while I don't think they have a specific date and time, I believe Ms. Lambert would be okay with 6 p.m. Central Time each Sunday of each month for up to 30 minutes. And that's how much he'd be entitled to. I guess if he wants more, then they can do more. And then for the visitation, I believe Ms. Lambert will probably recommend that upon 48 hours notice, Mr. Me will let Ms. Felix know if he intends to visit with the child, and she'll make the child available for a supervised visitation by her or a competent adult to further order the court. And if Mr. Me does not give said notice, then that visit would be waived. State asked the court to apportion court costs as appropriate. And as for the contested retroactive issue, so state understands that the parties separated about 9 months after the child was born. So the separation date would be approximately June 25th, 2024. And the end date of retroactive would be June 27th today. State understands that Ms. Felix may be asking for retroactive support during the time, that was 9 months that they lived together, as she may feel that Mr. Me was not really financially contributing to household expenses, etc. The state's only asking for from separation to today. If the court wants to do it earlier, state will defer to you on that. We won't object. Um, and the state understands that at least from the separation date to today, Mr. Me was either unemployed or just making minimum wage, and so the state calculated retroactive child support based off of that, and that would be a total of $2,778 as of today, and the recommended repayment of that would be $64. And as for just like the current child support and cash medical, all that would start July 1st, 2025.
All right, ma'am, don't worry. Ma'am, I'll let pro se litigants make opening statements. So we'll get your testimony at the end of the hearing. If you want to make a closing argument, you can. I already said that, but I think you may have dropped off earlier. But even though it showed you were still here. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let Ms. Lambert make her opening statement, and then we'll get your testimony, and we'll find out exactly what you want, ma'am, or whether or not you're in agreement or disagreement with some of those items. So, Ms. Lambert.
Thank you, Your Honor. For the issues for which I was appointed, conservatorship and visitation, the parties do have an agreement as to joint managing conservatorship, with the mother being primary. Regarding visitation, we've gotten a little creative because of Dad's current circumstances. He does have 2 pending criminal charges, one in Fort Bend County where he currently resides, and then one here in Bell County. The charge in Bell County is a family violence finding that does concern the mother as a victim. However, it did occur 2 to 3 years ago. She has filed a request for non-prosecution. The case has just been sitting for a while, and she has no current family violence concerns. Mr. Me does also have a suspended driver's license. So being that mom is in Williamson County and he is in Houston, he's not able at this point to be able to get the child every first, third, and fifth, etc. So the parties have agreed that whenever he is able or willing to travel to Williamson County, he will give mom 48 hours notice, to which she will make the child available and supervise those visits. She has also articulated, and I'll confirm for her, that she's also willing to take the child to Dad to Houston at times to continue to help them have that relationship. We are asking for electronic visitation because they're currently doing that pretty frequently. At this time, it's happening about every other day. We understand the order does normally say Sundays at 6 p.m., but the parties do understand they can go beyond that and communicate as frequently as they can both agree to, the same as with the frequency of the visits. I don't have any position on current child support. My understanding from talking to both parties is Dad is currently unemployed, so minimum wage would be appropriate. And regarding retroactive support, there was a period of time that they were not living together, for which I believe Ms. Felix is asking for support.
All right, folks, that's what the lawyers are telling me you're asking for. Let's get some testimony on those issues. And ma'am, if you are asking for child support during the time frames that there was actually, y'all are actually together, I've actually done that before in a case where it was shown that the one party was supplying 100% of the everything for the household during that time frame, and I found that you were entitled. I found that person was entitled to child support during that time frame because the other person was not contributing didn't contribute anything. But everybody's circumstances are different. Everybody, so let's get some testimony from both of y'all, and I'll figure out what we're going to try to do here, one way or the other. So at this time, Ms. Felix and Mr. Me, could you both raise? I'm sorry, you need to unmute yourself, sir. You need to unmute yourself, turn on your video, and raise your right hands, please. Okay, raise your right hands, please. Do you both solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, you're both officially under oath. I'm going to go ahead and let the state, you can put your hands down, you can drop your videos if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and let the state call you both as witnesses. And like I said, at the end of the testimony, if there's anything else, either you want to add to your testimony based on the fact that it is pertinent to what the court's doing here today, I'll allow you to give that testimony on that information. But this time, I'll let Mr. Welch call your first witness. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. State calls Jamie Lynn Felix. What is your full name?
Jamie Lynn Felix.
What is the full name of the child in this case?
Jakala Amare Leonard Me.
When was Jakala born?
On September 25th, 2023.
So how old is Jakala?
Almost 2.
So, as to the agreements that I discussed in my opening, is that accurate?
With regard to everything except the back child support, yes.
All right. And so now let's talk about the back child support then. So are you asking for back child support during the time that
This is the perfect time for me to welcome everybody who's just come in. If you're just getting here, no worries. Go ahead, hit the like button. That's how we take attendance around here. Prove your presence with a comment. I'll catch you up. We're just starting this hearing. This is mom, dad's up top. That's a lawyer, that's a lawyer, that lady's a lawyer. And the judge over there with just his face peeking out is going to decide about this couple. Mom wants child support for the time that they were together because he was such a deadbeat. He never gave her no money. Oh, thank you, Jonathan. All right, let's go.
you and Mr. Me were living together?
Yes.
All right. So, I guess first of all, when did you two separate?
So, I guess we separated in June, like previously stated. But from the time Jakala was born until January, he was not living with me. So he was traveling occasionally back and forth between Houston and Bell County to visit with Jakala on the weekends. And then in January, he moved in with me and was unemployed from January until April. And then became employed from April until September and was working for Bigfoot Concrete Pumping, or I'm not sure the official name, and he was making $22 an hour or $21
$21 an hour. That's like 4 of those Friday super chats. Amazing, MB. Thank you so much. I'm glad your alarm went off. My alarm went off way too early this morning. But this case, I'm glad I got it. It's quite interesting. So just to be clear, he wasn't taking care of the baby and he wasn't paying any bills. And he was working. So that's strange. So remember, the state thinks he should owe $2,000 something with minimum support or minimum wage child support. But we're going to hear what the judge has to say about that in a minute.
an hour plus overtime during that time.
All right, ma'am. All right, ma'am. So
Okay.
I understand you have a lot to say. So explain to the court why exactly, he should be paying retroactive support during the time he lived with you and the child.
Because he wasn't contributing financially. He maybe paid a water bill or a power bill 1 or 2 times that entire duration. There was a lot of things that went on, but we helped him get a car and he was working and he was supposed to be contributing, but due to our miscommunications or inability to communicate effectively, we were not jointly taking care of the household. I was paying 100% of the bills and he was spending money on himself and his bills and his obligations personally, but not to the child. He was physically there helping with the baby, but not financially.
All right. And between when the child was born and today, has he given you any cash or expensive goods for the benefit of the child?
Yeah, he bought a few things for the baby
So
directly.
directly. So
Like if I
not
asked him to buy, he didn't give me the money for it. He bought the item for her that I asked for when
what
she
kind of
was
items
first
are we
born.
talking about?
bought a like a baby cushion thing that helped with colic. He bought a swaddle blanket. I think maybe he bought a box of diapers 1 or 2 times, but that's the extent of the amount of financial support he's given the duration of her life.
All right, and
He also did
I've got
when
it, ma'am.
when we first started.
Ma'am,
Yes,
got it.
Stop, ma'am. Thank you.
Um, pass the witness.
All right, ma'am, real quick. You said he was working at a concrete facility of some kind.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, what were the dates of that employment?
April 2024 to September 2024.
Okay, and so he was working there for April, May, and June for the 3 months y'all were together, and then after that, y'all separated in June 24.
Yes.
All right, and he was still employed when y'all separated.
Yes. Until he was
All right, then.
incarcerated in September.
All right then. All right, Mr. Welch, I'll go ahead and let Ms. Lambert ask questions now. But I think you're looking at a recalc, and you need to check that and get some testimony. But it sounds like from July, August, and September, or at least July and August, he was fully employed at $22 an hour, not minimum wage. Okay.
Yes, Your
But
Honor.
we'll confirm that, and we'll make that adjustment. Thank you. All right, your witness, Ms. Lambert.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Felix, in regard to custody or conservatorship and visitation, did you understand the terms of the agreement as I stated them on the record?
Yes, ma'am.
And so you are in agreement with the two of you being joint managing conservators, with you being primary?
Yes.
And regarding visitation, will it be sufficient if Mr. Mee provides you 48 hours notice of his intent to visit Williamson County where you currently reside?
Yes.
And if he does so, you will make the child available to him for a visit?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that the order may read that electronic visitation is ordered every Sunday at 6 p.m. for 30 minutes, but that the two of you can communicate regarding the child or with the child as frequently as you may agree?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything additional you believe that the court needs to know to make a ruling regarding conservatorship or visitation?
No.
I don't have any further questions for Ms. Felix, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, I'll be back in a moment. And again, I'll always ask at the end, is there anything else you think I need to know? But let's hear from Dad and get his side of the story. And then I'm going to give you both the opportunity to tell the court anything in addition, plus make a closing argument if you wish. But at this time, I'll go ahead and let the state call your next witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. State calls Emmanuel Mee. What is your full name?
Emmanuel Barnalemi.
So regarding everything I said in my opening there, regarding the agreements, is that accurate?
Yes, everything is accurate except for the back child support.
All right, so let's talk about that then. Did you two separate around, as Ms. Felix said, June 2024?
Yes, that is correct. We separated in the month of June of 2024, and I was living.
Got it.
Okay.
And so
I aspire to have meetings like Walter Welch does. I just want to say that. Just like immediately cutting people off mid-sentence. We know why he's doing it. We wish more lawyers did it. But at this point, I just... I have to say, like, I love it. Like, do you see how he did that? Just literally mid-sentence. He is taking control. And I like it. Ah, who'd have figured? Who'd have thought that?
That is correct. We separated in the month of June of 2024, and I was living.
Got it.
Okay.
And so during the time from when the child was born, I guess to September 2024, were you working a concrete job making $22 per hour?
I was working, but I was making 20 an hour.
20 an hour.
And sir, what did
And
you do for that company?
I'm sorry.
What did you do for that company? What was your job?
So it's called Bigfoot Concrete Pumping. It's a third party for construction sites, residential and commercial, pouring foundation of the concrete for the buildings and structures that they were working on. And they were all over. We were all over Texas. It didn't stop us. We went to
Okay, I just
Laredo.
wanted. Okay, I just wondered what did you do specifically, sir? And is that something you can go back to doing? Because again, minimum wage versus $20 an hour is a big jump. So
Yeah, it is something that I'm trying to get back into. The only issue is location. So right now I reside in Houston. So they're very different from the one they're located in Gerald, Texas.
I don't really care. Isn't Houston? First of all, I've been to Houston many times. Well, not. I mean, like a handful of times at least. I've been to Houston, Texas. I have a hard time believing that there's no employment for a strong young man. I really do. But, you know, and what is minimum wage? Isn't it like $7 an hour or something fucking nuts? Anyways, I'll tell this very quick story. Whenever I travel, of course, yeah, the coffin fights are happening tonight, but I don't think the boys are streaming it because I don't think he is doing that, Vicky. Just to be clear, Creed is not doing coffin fights. I'm almost positive he's not. But I wish I was. I asked, you know, I won't be available, to be frank, but he is pending 2 criminal charges. Yes, Rose, thanks for bringing us back on track. My quick story before we go back to it, since my coffee is kicking in. Thank you, Jesus. When I went to Texas, just like I went to Texas. No, I'm not streaming tonight. I'm giving y'all a great, easy decision. Mikey can call him while he's fishing. I want them to focus on the boat and safety. I was very worried yesterday when I overheard on the stream that nobody seems to have a boating license, but anyways. In Texas, I tried to give homeless people money, but they would not take Canadian dollars, which I found hilarious. And I ended up telling that story to a taxi driver or like an Uber driver that was taking us somewhere, and he laughed so hard. And then I gave him like a toonie, and I was like, you can keep this and remember the Canadian girl that came in your car and then couldn't get people to take her money. I just thought that was so funny because where I'm from, there are lots of homeless people, but they will take a fucking Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, Portuguese lira, fucking US dollar. Absolutely. I mean, you could come in with some sort of carved tuppence, and I believe they would take it.
I was an oiler, so I was like a second handyman to the big rigs. And I was able to operate on work sites with the main operator. So yeah, that's my intent to try to get back into that 20 an
okay,
hour.
all right, good enough, sir. I was just trying to figure out what. Okay, but I'll let the state if they have any more questions. Anything else at the end you want to explain, you can. But I was just trying to figure out what happened there, and obviously you lost that position when you were originally incarcerated in September 2024, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, good enough. Thank you. All right, any other questions of the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. So did you have any other jobs between when the child was born to September 2024?
No, I did not.
And between the time the child was born and today, have you given Ms. Felix, for the benefit of the child, any cash or expensive goods?
No, not directly. I have bought items for the child directly, including diapers and clothes.
Diapers and wipies. Say it. Diapers and wipies. I want Sashina. Sashina. Well, Anastasia, that's hilarious. You using your Scotiabank card in New York City, and they thought you're from Scotland. First of all, Scotiabank is like a big bank all over the world. So is CIBC, and so is TD Bank. So Canadian banking institutions are very robust, and so they're global. All over the place. And it's so funny to me when I'm walking down the street and I see a TD Bank. And TD stands for Toronto Dominion Bank. But anyways, I always recommend, though, that you carry a few different bank institution cards when you travel. And I'll just say, I wasn't trying to be mean to homeless people by giving them Canadian money and like being like, haha. Like, it's just all I had in my wallet. And it's just interesting to me because it was quite discerning. And of course, I talk to people. You guys know me. I talk to people. Rose asked, did I go to any courts? No, I didn't go in any courts, but I did go outside of a jail one night. And then this guy, oh yeah. I'm sure there's a whole story to that I've already told that I'll look up one day and remember properly. But with my brain, we saw a guy and he had no shoes on and he was just released from the jail. It was sad.
Clothing or swaddle blankets. When my time was with her.
All right. And what is your highest level of education?
Currently a high school diploma.
And do you have any special licenses other than driver's license?
No.
And so just to make sure it was, well, actually, Your Honor, strike that. State passes the witness.
All right, Ms. Lambert, you're a witness again.
Thank you. Mr. May, I believe you previously stated this to Mr. Welch, but as far as the conservatorship and the visitation terms that I've outlined, are you still in agreement with those?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. I don't have any questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, then. Any questions of either witness at this time, Mr. Welch?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then. I'll start with you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What else do you want to tell the court at this point? Again, it's got to be relevant. Thank you. Are you there, Ms. Felix?
At this point, Zoom court
Looks like
strikes
maybe
again.
it froze.
Yeah, it does.
He stated that he didn't have any other jobs in Houston when the baby was born, 2 different jobs, and here.
Okay, ma'am, you're cracking up severely.
Can you hear me?
You're not, your vehicle, I don't think your vehicle's moving, but you're not the greatest signal in the world. So repeat what you just said, ma'am. Thank you.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. So he stated that he had another job from the time the baby was born until September of 2024, but he worked at 2 different places when the baby was born.
All right, ma'am, we're losing.
And then he also had a job February.
Remember, you're coming in and out. Can you get to a better spot or get somewhere where you got Wi-Fi?
She's coming in and out. Oh my
Right
God,
now,
that's what she
we're not
said.
hearing a word. And it's showing that you're not, your microphone isn't working.
Are you able to hear me now?
It's kind of still garbly, ma'am. You got a spot you can get to that has Wi-Fi instead of just your cellular?
Wi-Fi would be worse where I am. You would want to be on a cellular, like, data. Harder, Patrick.
I'm sorry, the
says.
power went out at my house, but I'm in another
Okay.
area now.
Why would the power go
Okay.
out at her house? I am asking now.
We'll give you a moment, ma'am.
Yeah, take a moment.
All right, I'm gonna go off the record for about 5 minutes. Let's see if we can get this. Felix can get a better spot and get a few more bars on that cellular, and we'll start back up. All right.
She's in a closet now,
Okay.
Judge. She's fine.
I'm in a
Ma'am, try turning off the video.
Go ahead and turn off your video, ma'am. Thank you.
Do you know I live so close to the American
able to hear me
border
better
that
now?
sometimes when
Yes, ma'am, you sound okay
when
now.
I drive along the ocean, I get a text message that says "Welcome to the United States" from cell phone providers. That's how close I live to America. I automatically connect to American towers sometimes across the ocean.
All right. I had to stop the record, so
Okay.
go ahead now. Thank you. I got to see you testified to the fact he had other jobs after the baby was born, and what else you want to let the court know, ma'am?
and he had another job this year.
Wait, so it's actually feasible that her power could just randomly go out in the summertime? Because to me, it would be very unlikely. Hi, Carla. For that to happen. Power tends to go out. Oh, John, slow down. John, I've talked about it before. You know, when the pill bottle's full or the bottle's full and it goes down easy, and then all of a sudden you're getting towards the end. I hear you, but have fun. I'm glad you're having fun. It's beautiful weather here, and we're very lucky, so we don't have a lot of air conditioners running, and that's probably the difference on our power grid. But we also have hydroelectricity. I have dual citizenship, but not to America. Nuh-uh-uh. Where to?
In February till just recently making more than minimum wage. He was making like $14 an hour.
All right. Do you know where that job was, ma'am?
Yeah, he was working at Hottie Burger Bar or something like that. And he worked
And do you know what city that's located in?
Shall we pull a creed and look up the Hottie
You're
Burger
going in and out
Bar?
again, ma'am.
What do you guys
the
think?
Doghouse was in Missouri City, I think, and the Hottie is in Richmond, Texas.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get some testimony. Yeah,
Okay,
again,
well,
ma'am,
it's
you're going in and
not
out, going out.
Hottie, it's Hop Dottie. Hop Dottie Burger Bar? The best burgers in Houston. Well, I'll be the decider of that. I will decide that. A Shishito Wagyu burger. That does look pretty good, actually. Also, I like the size of the pictures on their website. I'm sort of liking the functionality. Most websites are not this functional for menus. Put an egg on it. Love it. We do that here a lot for burgers. Ooh, a Dottie melt. Okay. I mean, they got the pics. They got the pics to back it up, but... Oh, I was like, is that bacon cooked? It's not fucking bacon, Paisley. That's ahi tuna. That's ahi tuna that's been seared. No, I'm not I don't have France citizenship. Mon Dieu. Nope, nope, nope. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. Oh, this one looks healthy. You know, in Japan, it is illegal to make your food look different than in the photos, like advertisements. So, like, if you get a burger and they've advertised it like this, it has to look like this, like actually. And John's got it right. Yes, I was born in Scotland, so they still will accept me. Look at all the fries. Okay, they have a Brussels sprout section, you guys. Brussels sprout section with green chili queso. What are these Brussels sprout chips? Crispy Brussels sprout leaves, tossed and sauced. That's how I like to spend my Friday night. Tossed and sauced, by the way. Haven't included Brussels sprouts in that up until now, but now I'm thinking of it. Now I am thinking of it. And then they got some drinky poos. Anastasia, these bastards were in my mind. Look at this. This is not something you could get in Canada. This is a road beverage, alcoholic. Even the implications of naming that seems to me a little bit crazy. Doesn't it? Huh? Like, doesn't it? Oh, we sell that beer. I've seen at places. That's so funny. This is, they have non-alcoholic beer as well. That's so weird. It's not fair. I don't personally like non-alcoholic beer. I don't like alcoholic beer. So I'm not the person to sell non-alcoholic beer to. Anyways, wow. Look at this. Make any burger a bowl. Well, shit, y'all. Okay. If you live near there, you probably want to go check that place out because it looks pretty good. Not a sponsor. Hashtag not a sponsor yet, but I mean, I would. I would.
I'll have the state confirm that information with the father in just a moment. Thank you. Anything else, ma'am?
No, Your
All right.
Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Welch, any other questions?
I'll ask. We'll go through the timeline more, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
State recalls Mr. Emmanuel Me.
Thank you. You may proceed. Mr. Me's already unknown, obviously, so thank you.
All right, sir. So we've already discussed up to September 2024. So after September 2024, how were you employed?
Was not employed until January of this year. January of this year, I started working at the job Ms. Felix mentioned, Hobdoddy Burger Bar is what it's called. That's right next to me. It was a brand new store I opened with them, and I was working with them until this month, so January to June.
All right. And how much did you make at that Hot Doggy Burger Bar?
14.
And how many hours, I'm sorry, and how many hours a week did you work, sir? Full time?
Most was 28.
Okay.
Is it a part-time job or?
It was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's a part-time job. I work 32 hours a week some weeks, and I'm still part-time. Bro, again, I don't understand. It's like this weird dichotomy. There's some places where people work so much overtime, and then some people are like, I only work 28 hours a week or 25.
The full-time job. From beginning of working there, me and management had issues with scheduling. So my hours has just been cutting down till this month came, and then they decided to let me go based on their decision was based on performance and such.
Have you been looking for a new job?
Yes, I have.
And what kind of job have you been looking for?
Either automotive, being an automotive technician, or back into the construction.
So you haven't had any prior experience with automotive, so how do you think you're going to get that kind of job?
I do. When me concerning me and Ms. Felix's first getting together, I was actually in Waco, Texas, living there, going to school for automotive technology.
Oh, yeah. Brag about it, buddy. Brag about how much money you were making or how close you were to getting a degree, and watch the judge set your fucking child support higher than minimum wage.
TSTC, Texas State Technical College. So afterwards, I didn't finish because due to the prior that I have in McLennan County, um, concerning Miss Felix, I wasn't able to finish, so I moved back to Houston once I bonded out. That's the family violence case.
She ruined it for you. Is that what you're saying? Where's Streamlabs? Streamlabs! Sir Philip has been here for 8 months. He says all good pals and jolly good company. Isn't it true, Sir Philip? We have such a great crew around here. Don't worry. I think he's full of excuses and excusses, Manuel. Don't you worry about it. We know you're working with what you've got with your eyes, so don't you worry about it. It's not her fault that you allegedly hurt her. That's victim blaming. And also, if you can't cut it at a burger bar, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be realistic here. Do you want somebody who's not fucking good enough attention to detail to work at a burger place to be working on your car? I don't think so.
When I bonded out, moved to Houston, I got a job in a shop here called Christian Brothers Automotive, but that was before the baby was born.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lambert.
I have no questions for Mr. Me, Your Honor.
All right, here's what I want you to do, Mr. Welch. I need for you to give me the math on $14 an hour at 28 hours a week. That's still above minimum wage, and that's for the from January through now. That's for the last 6 months for the to figure out the retro for that. And I also need the retro for the I'm looking at ordering retro for the months that he was actually employed at the $20 an hour job. But that's the only time I'm gonna look at retro, and I am looking at it for the couple of months that he was doing that while he was still living with mom. So give me the math on the retro from the job in 2024 until he lost that job in September 2024. And give me the calcs on let me know what the calcs are on all that, please, and I'll figure out if I'm going to order that entire amount or something, or a percentage thereof. So everybody, I'm gonna let Mr. Welch do the math for me on this one. I'm gonna let him come back and give me the math on this one. And folks, I'm thinking about making this a temp. Again, I don't like minimum wage anymore. Nobody makes minimum wage. This gentleman is obviously capable of at least making 14 an hour. So, and hopefully he'll get a new job very, very fast because he's got to live. So I'm thinking about just going ahead and making this a temporary order, making everything final except the final child support amount, and come back in about 60 days and see where he's working and see if we can get an update on that. Because again, nobody makes minimum wage anymore in this state. All right, it's just not since COVID, it's not there anymore. Everybody makes at least double. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'll let you. I'll go off the record for a moment, let you finish up the calcs on that, and come back, and I'll make my ruling on everything else. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank y'all very much. So everybody take a quick 5 minute, and All right, let's get back on the
Quick
record.
5 minutes. Oh my God, so
Everyone, we're
quick.
getting ready
I'm a
get back on the record, and Mr.
time
Welch is getting ready to give me his information. So we're now back on the record on Bell County calls number 24 DFAM 349988 with Mr. Mr. Me and Ms. Felix. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the state understands that based off of first from April to September, $20 per hour, 40 hours per week, 52 weeks per year, etc. That would be 500, each month would be 596. And then from October through December 2024, that'd be at minimum wage still. And then from
Right.
January to this month, based off $14 per hour or 28 hours per week, etc., that would be $305 per month. If you add all those up, Your Honor, we get a grand total of $6,099 total, and a repayment of $80 based off of interest plus 50. And Your Honor, this assumes that Mr. Me has one child in this case and then 0 children out. I believe that's the case, although, Your Honor, I should ask him just to make sure.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Me, you're still the witness here, and the state needs to confirm this is your only child. Thank you. You may recall Mr. Me.
State recalls Mr. Me for this question. Mr. Me, how many children besides the child in this case do you have?
I do not have any other children.
All right. And that's it, Your Honor.
All right, man. Mr. Me, here's the and one final question I have: during any time frames during this matter that I'm looking at as far as back child support, did you ever give the mother any cash money, and let's say anything above $100?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And again, I don't get to do, I don't do the morning speech on these special settings, but again, I don't usually get credit for, incidentals, diapers, wipes. There, believe me, I've heard that. If I had $100 for every time somebody said gave me that one as the making a request, the judge would be driving at least an SEL based on that kind of money. Okay, but the bottom line is, yeah, it's the mom. Child support is for the person who gets it to spend on what they feel like they want to, or in any manner, shape, or form they wish. Anyway, I see what the new math is. And again, sir, I'm looking at going ahead and making this a temporary order, but I'm looking at going ahead and setting up everything is by agreement. I'm making y'all joint managed conservative. I'm giving mom the right to decide domicile. I'm gonna go ahead and make the current temporary child support based on minimum wage, but I'm going to go ahead and finalize everything else here today except that temporary child support amount, that child support amount. And I want to come back on the general docket and get an update from you. In fact, I'll go ahead and make it a special. And that way we can squeeze this will be less than an hour next time around. So I'll come up with a date that both of y'all can appear, and I'll make a special setting on a Friday, probably somewhere around noon. And that way I know it'll be easy for everybody, and we can go ahead and finalize what the final child support amount is going to be. Because again, my friends' kids who work in high school are making $14 an hour. Okay, so that seems to be the new minimum wage in Texas. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and ma'am, I'm not going to order that entire amount. I'm going to go ahead and just round it off. I'm going to do a retroactive child support judgment of $5,000, and I'm going to order a repayment, and that's going to be the final order of court. And I'm going to order a repayment of that the interest alone on that's what, $25 a month, Mr. Welch.
I always do. If we divide by 200, that gives, yeah, the interest would be $25.
Okay, so I'll order repayment on that, and I'll just make this a temporary order as far as I'm gonna make this a final order. I'll go ahead and order repayment of that at an additional $65 a month. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so ma'am, I'm gonna give you the $5,000 retroactive child support judgment. I'm gonna order repayment against that at $65 a month. He's gonna have to pay you temporary child support based on the minimum wage, but I'm going to, and that starts the first day of July. But I'm going to now look at a date, say in August, when the heat starts dissipating a little bit, maybe. I'm going to look at September or August for a reset date for you guys to come back, and let's see if we can find
And guess what? They found a date, but you don't have to worry about it. I'll worry about that part. We'll come back in a few months. Well, we'll be back much sooner than that, but what I mean is I will try and follow up for this case because it's a special setting. It's actually a little bit easier to follow. And we'll see if he gets a job. Will he go back to the Hot Dottie burger place? Hottie Dottie? It looked pretty good. The judge wants his camera to be like that twitchy sketch. In his mind, it's completely perfect. Reminder, I won't be there tonight. No live tonight, but there will be one tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, probably in the evening. Let's have some evening entertainment, shall we? So until then, I am so thankful that you're here. Please hit the like button. You know how YouTube Daddy is. He like obsessed with likes. I've told him he needs therapy, but he doesn't care. Anyways, do me a favor. Remember that I love you and I'm proud of you. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.
Wisdom ready to ride.